Welcome to the Ultimate Ascent map guide for Valorant. In this video, we'll take you through all key areas, strategies, and tips you need to dominate on this map. Starting off, let's talk about the A site. This area is crucial for both attackers and defenders, so knowing the best angles and positions can give you a huge advantage. Next, we'll move on to the mid section of the map. This area is often a hot spot for action, so being able to control it effectively can make or break a round. We'll show you some key choke points and strategies to keep in mind. Finally, we'll cover the B site. This area can be tricky to navigate, but with the right tactics, you can defend or attack with confidence. We'll walk you through the best ways to approach this site and secure victory. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of the Ascent map and be ready to climb the ranks in Valorant. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more map guides and tips. The strategy and tactics we're going to be covering in this video are extremely important, but as we all know, no strategy can be complete without winning your gunfights. Now, if you've watched my content for a long time, you know how much I harp on taking good quality gunfights, making sure to take advantage of players by using Peeker's advantage and not falling victim to the exact same thing yourself. But sometimes you can do everything right and still get punished. Why is that? Well, usually it's due to poor network connection or your ping is just too damn high. But don't worry, if you're one of the people suffering from this, I have a solution. I recommend to download GearUP Booster. Now, most of you know I play Valorant from Canada, which sucks when you're averaging 50 to 70 ping when connected to a server at the lowest. But with GearUP Booster, I'm going to as low as 27 ping, a 40 ping decrease. That's just insane, and makes registry of my shots feel crispy. A lot of pros and creators are also using it, such as JoelTV, Veins, and Teats, so it's totally not bannable. And for those of you playing on console, never fear. They also have a brand new gaming router called HyperRev that will bring your ping down to the lowest levels and give you the best gaming experience possible. Give GearUP Booster a download today and see just how low your ping can go. Join my Discord and drop a screenshot of your GearUP bringing your ping down low, and I may provide a small incentive. I'll choose one special someone to gain a little bit of Valorant points for doing so. So I wonder who's going to show the lowest ping. There's only one way to find out. Hop on in and give it a try. And now that you have the shot registry, it's time to break down Ascent. In a ranked environment, anything goes when it comes to choosing agents. However, having been the most popular map to date in terms of overall playtime, a long-standing meta of the map has been formed around Jett, Sova, KO, Omen, and Killjoy. It's no secret that this meta comp is the ideal way to play Ascent in its current iteration. Numerous pro teams in the VCT and Tier 2 scenes have experimented with multiple comps that could potentially break or shift this meta. However, most end up failing to not fully understand what needs to happen in order for those comps to work, and most frequently a well-trained meta comp team completely shuts down what they're trying to do. So why these agents? In a nutshell, Sova and KO represent the perfect cohesion of map and info control. Coordinations of knife and dart timings are essential to predicting defensive rotation and attacking site hits. Killjoy complements this marriage with perfect map controlling utility for both flank coverage and control of lanes on defense to limit and funnel enemies into set traps. Omen is the ultimate controller on this map for two reasons: recovering smokes and the paranoia, which we'll cover later. Jett is enabled perfectly by drones, flashes from KO, and Omen's paranoia to be able to effectively sight hit and flexibly play aggressive angles with operators and rifles on defense. Let's break down the roles and jobs for each of these agents. Sova. You are the main source of raw information gathering. On defense, your main position is within the B site, and due to your utility and the B main wall being paper thin, you are welcome to be a Killjoy turret on steroids with the Odin or other high penetration weapons. This acts as a soft contest. You're not fully committing to fighting for that space, but acting as a deterrent for anyone trying to enter or gain control of B main. One of the most important concepts not covered enough by coaches is re-clearing. There are three stages to any round in Valorant: beginning, middle, and end. Beginning equals map control. Middle equals recontest or re-clearing. Ending is site take and post plant. Well, what does all this mean? Most rounds start with the attackers fighting for map control, which in most cases defenders should be challenging one of the neutral spaces as well rather than just giving it up. These neutral spaces are B main, A main, and middle. Once a winner of this fight is determined, reactions such as site hits will occur, or fakes and default slow plays. It's your responsibility as Sova to initiate the second phase of fighting, called recontesting or re-clearing. This is essential for defenders positioning to win the round by either reacting off of late round darts or drones for info, either going back towards A site, or to defend B site. By playing towards B site, you are allowing for entire map coverage, because your KO is also playing tree. Being able to react and gather information at any time across the map between both these players, providing you're in accordance with each other, coordinating util timings. Which brings us to KO. You are the most annoying disruptive agent in this composition. You are often the mid-round reaction in terms of information or mid-round aggression, so be prepared and make sure you have the utility ready to support any mid-round calls. Just like Sova, you are not required to instantly throw your knife to find information. Due to Ascent being very default heavy, use it instead to disrupt what you feel is an execute or to find mid-round information should you be starved of it as a defender. As KO, you own tree. There's a reason why KO is often positioned towards tree and guarded, and that's because you're very good at holding this area, along with the support of Omen from sight. You're stalled with a fragment grenade, your utility shut down with your knife, and should you be smoked off and guarded and forced back, your ability to refight through the smoke or again disrupt the split execute with flashes is ridiculously strong. Equally, you're able to assist Omen with the same theory when they're executing out of A main. Punishing their explosive entry can be extremely effective. Don't be afraid to allow the Jet to entry and then isolate the rest of the team from them. Having little set plays such as allowing Jet to entry before your fragment grenade lands in main, and then flash fighting the Jet while she is isolated alone in sight can be enough to win the round. Have a relative idea of where your utility goes when you throw it, so your potential teammates can play around it. Figure out some optimal flashes for mid, or where your fragment lands when you throw it. Having potential lineups that land cross map if that is required to gather information can be very important. And remember, you can completely shut down and execute with a well-timed knife. Killjoy. Your public enemy number 1 is Sova, and if the enemy team doesn't have KO or Sova, you're big chilling. It's important, however, to have multiple setups and even rotate bomb site holding positions. For example, every 2 rounds, shift to play A site or B site. Positioning the alarm bot in mid is fantastic to control that space and allow for aggression in other parts of the map for defenders, or controlling flank watch on attack to allow you to lurk effectively. Why is Sova a threat? At high levels, once your alarm bots have been figured out, shock darts will counter the positions you place the bots in and effectively decimate your defensive setups. You should be acting as a B-side anchor, because from this position, you're able to fall back in stages, which we will cover later on in our B-side section. You may start the round jiggling from contact off your turret and then fall back to stairs with a molly setup should the attackers advance through B main. Behind this, you're able to fall back even further into boathouse or CT to retake with your team. You must remember, you are the passive information gatherer on your team. If your utility is active and isn't being triggered, that is information in and of itself that the enemy team must be towards the opposite bomb site, allowing you as a defender to counter or absorb any execution. Always remember, you're playing against a KO, and KO can immediately shut you and your utility down, exposing gaps in defense that may only be covered by your alarm bot. You must therefore be in constant communication of what your utility is covering, when it is broken, and when it may be shut down or smoked off. It's super important that your team is aware of any potential gaps or timings the attacking team may be able to exploit. Jet. You are the aggressor in this composition. You are the front line. You are the first in on a retake, and you are the one that will be taking any early aggression. You will require teammates to set you up on aggressive angles or to be in position where you're tradable. On a retake, you should be the point man. Your team will be throwing utility for you to take the initial fight over the first space in the stages of retake. Dashing out while recons and flashes are being thrown into sight to help support you should be your ultimate goal in being a defensive jet. You should be controlling your economy and putting yourself in positions where you consistently hold an operator, taking away early aggression in mid and disrupting any kind of default or plan the attacking team may be trying to achieve. Be unpredictable. Although your main goal should be aggression in mid, don't be afraid to move to each of the mains or take different angles and positions in mid. Following an early Sova drone to post up on deep B main angle, for instance, or using a KO/Omen flash to aggress early in A main for either the first blood or to take space, or post up on a deep line with an operator. This gives your team full confidence to rotate and strengthen other areas of the map, which is essential to success on defense Ascent. And finally, Omen, my goat. Omen mains should be the king of foresight, reaction, and proaction. The usual smokes on mains, although good, should not be the only place that smokes are thrown. Every smoke has a purpose for both attack and defense. Remember, you are the second fastest moving agent in this composition, so don't be afraid to teleport your button to site to help out a retake on defense or site execution on attack. Timing is everything with Omen. On defense, if the attacking team is executing and you're trying to smoke the main choke point, it's likely that your smoke is far too late, so throw a mid-site smoke to help your site players, smoking generator and dice on A site, or smoking between tall box and default on B site, allowing your teammates to isolate fights and not be traded. This may buy enough time for the rest of the defense to rotate and flood to help before the enemy team is even close to post-plant setups. You are primarily the A site player as Omen. Often you will be seen jump peeking over dice with your paranoia out, ready to stall an attempt of any execution. This is usually the second stage of your positioning. If you're aggressive towards A main, which you should be as a team, using the standard one ways to control it is super important. Should you be cleared out of that area and your one way is broken, don't be afraid to then re-clear and refight with your paranoia and KO utility to regain control. Your standard defensive position is dice, because you're able to spot A main and you're in a position where you can move around very effectively. Being able to teleport to gen to throw off your positioning, or falling back into hell, disrupting the execute with off angles. Finally, if all else fails, you'll also be able to, from dice, be able to teleport out of sight via heaven. Let's talk about defense. There's many ways to play defense on Ascent, none more correct than others, as long as the intention is correct in your strategy. As talked about before, A site is typically covered by Omen and KO, with the Jet rotating usually with an operator. Whether this is the case or not, Jet can be used to gain early map control towards A main. It's highly recommended you attempt to take early map control. B main can be a bit difficult to do depending on the utility invested, so I recommend most of the time challenging the A main space. Use tactics such as one ways on A main and KO knives to be able to gain information, or to use those knives to be able to stop or slow down a push when you feel threatened on an A site hit. You can become more creative with how you do this. For example, walking into wine, teleporting into the one way, creating traps, and making life as difficult as possible for the enemy on A main. When you control A main, you force them to be pushed to other areas of the map due to the fact they don't want to waste an excessive amount of utility or time and risk their life just to control the first staging round of the site. Ideally, you'll have your Jet rotating around the defense with an operator. However, you will mainly want to control mid and find early first bloods here. Fighting from catwalk and tiles or mid to tiles top mid, Jet players will need to be versatile and active. Keep repositioning and don't be afraid to take fights towards either B main or A main for early fights. Just be aware, if you're controlling A main as your defensive protocol, you're limited in B main. Towards B site, you will have KJ and Sova. KJ can gather passive information in mid with an alarm bot, or with the double vision of the turret being placed on switch, which allows both B main and mid information. Do not be afraid to hold your alarm bot and use it more aggressively. The use of a Sova drone to clear B main early is very strong because it then allows you to place a deeper alarm bot for much earlier information, or set up a Jet operator. Sova should be gathering you information throughout B main. Again, be versatile with your recon darts. You don't need to use it within the first 2 seconds of every round. Having a recon available for when they execute onto site is very impactful. Please remember this map is currently paper thin and you can spam everything. So a Sova dart thrown in the right position can completely run down an enemy team attacking on B site. Staging is very important towards B site. If the enemy is pressuring heavily towards B main, do not be afraid to fall back to site and into boathouse, playing in stages 2 or stages 3. With each stage retreat, you are forcing them to clear even more of the site than they want to with utility or their lives. And this brings me to my next point about understanding how bomb sites work and the staging behind them. So what is staging? Staging is understanding the key points of control when you attack any bomb site. In this example, B site, It's clear that there are 3 major sections of the site that need to be controlled and fought for. This visual gives an understanding to what is important to fight for if you're on defense, when deciding if falling back is the better move, or for the attackers to understand how much space needs to be under control before advancing further. Now, on to attack. To attack this map, you must use push and pull methods. Key points involve pressuring most choke points at some point in the round prior to your execute in order to be successful. You can start by using regenerative utility to gain control of important areas like mid, using abilities such as dark cover, 0 point, and recon dart. This will help you search and break any utilities such as turrets, alarm bots, or players from key defensive positions such as inside market or pizza. By doing this, you'll be forcing the enemy deep in their defensive setups, and you will cause rotations and reactions to which you should be able to punish from this space. Have patience when playing attack. You have 100 seconds each round. You do not need to execute or be in the bomb sites within the first 20 seconds. If you gain control of mid, including market and pizza, and you control the catwalk choke point into tree, you then have the potential to pivot very quickly between A or B site based on the rotations. And when you have mid control, you will always beat the defender's rotations and isolate the site anchors easily. Killjoy's job on attack is to passively control the extremities of the map while your team is taking control of mid. You often see people place the Killjoy turret on the shack outside of B main. You are controlling the extremity that is B main while your team is pressuring and fighting mid. You are holding space and giving your team an outlet if things don't work out the way they planned in mid. You can often become the lurk from these positions. If your team pivots from mid, for example, towards A, or if your plan is to fast execute A site, you can condition the lurk and mid control from your turret and take timings to tree or through market to backstab or disrupt defending team's retake. Let's talk about a few fun strategies you're going to see pro teams run on the regular. Vision Strikers. Vision Strikers, or Tiles Crunch, is a popular defensive aggressive play, where Omen sets up a smoke top mid, allowing Jet to scale up and dash onto tiles with the support of a set KO flash from mid. This will pop on all the tiles players, setting them up to be taken out by Jet. You'll often see Omen following up with a paranoia through B main to funnel the attackers back towards the exposed tiles attack, coming from KO, Jet, and Killjoy from catwalk, while Sova will dart deep B main and scale off the Omen blind. This strategy can catch even the most advanced teams off guard when done at the right time. Attackers mid pop. This strategy has the attackers putting the brunt of their forces towards mid, breaking utility and disrupting the defensive positioning into middle. From this captured space, Omen smokes will be thrown to support the aggressive push into defender spawn, ultimately flanking the unsuspecting defenders on A site from heaven and garden room. Versions of this strategy will be commonly seen on pistol round. Attackers garden push. This is a great strategy for pistols and rounds where you want to disturb the defender's retake staging ground. A great time to do this would be when the defending team has a KJ ult and they want to place down this KJ ult in garden to retake A site. Jet, KO, and Killjoy will scale up catwalk, while Omen and Sova antagonize A main. Once ready, Omen can smoke off the door to A site and pop a paranoia to clear the space for the push into garden from Jet. From here, Jet can scale into heaven to start backward pressure onto the unsuspecting players on A site. Defenders one-way pop aggression. Using Jet, Omen, and Sova, Omen will one-way A main, while Jet will start to scale up A main and updraft into the one-way smoke. While this is happening, Sova's dart will land towards Gelato and reveal the players who are hit by Omen's paranoia. This makes Jet's life simple to frag through the smoke due to the reveals. This can also be supported with an Omen ult into attacker spawn. Ult yourself onto the spawn roof in attacker spawn and rain hell on unsuspecting attackers to clean up easy rounds on defense. I sincerely hope this video has given you a few new insights on how to play Ascent to either help you rank up fast or get a couple more match wins for your team. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching.